Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and this is the review of Disney Plus' new Marvel property, their new little mini-series, Wonder Man, which premiered on Disney Plus on January the 27th. All 8 episodes dropped at once. And this is a television show that is, of course, based off of the Marvel Comics character. It is the 17th television show to come out the MCU. And this comes to us from Dustin Daniel Cretton, who gave us Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings. He directed that. He directed the upcoming Spider-Man Brave New World that comes out later this year, I think. Yeah, it does. And Wonder Man tells the story of struggling actors Simon Williams and Trevor Slattery, who we all know and love. They tried to earn roles in the remake of the superhero film Wonder Man. Simon Williams is played by the great Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. And, of course, Trevor Slattery is played by the great Sir Ben Kingsley, returning to the role once again that he introduced to us in Iron Man 3. This is one property from the MCU that I just didn't really care. You know, I didn't really care about when they first initially released. And it wasn't any fault of anybody involved or whatever. It was the simple fact, as much as I read comics growing up, even now still read comics when I can carve out some time for it, I didn't know much about Wonder Man. I know that he is part of the West Coast Avengers. I know that he's an actor or a stuntman, I believe, in the comics and all that good stuff. I know of him, but I don't know a lot about him. And I just didn't, that character never really latched on to me in the comics. So it didn't latch on to me when they announced that this was going to be a TV show. And now this isn't a quote unquote TV show, so to speak. It's more of a one-off. This is under the Marvel Spotlight banner, which we got Werewolf by Night, you know, that one-off and things of that nature. It's just something to throw out there. Now, I'm all for that. I'm all for one-shots and, you know, doing something different, changing up things every now and then. I'm cool with that for Marvel. But this show, man, I did not like it. Flat out, I just did not like this show. Nothing about this show was interesting to me. I can see where actors or struggling actors can see themselves in these characters, because it's really a showcase of the process of behind the scenes look of the process of filmmaking, or being cast in a role, or in the struggles to get an audition and things like that. If you follow Hollywood like that, or a part of it, you know that this is pretty accurate to what these actors go through to get on a set, man. It is brutal. You know, I have a lot of respect for actors, good and bad actors, because it's really hard. It is really, really hard. And that's basically what this show is. If you tune into this for some superhero action, you know, punchy, bang, bang, and all this here, it's none of that. It is none of that in this show. And I wasn't expecting it. The promotional materials leading up to this gave me no hope that this was going to be a small scale Avengers Endgame type show. I knew it wasn't going to be none of that, but the story just didn't get there. It was just boring. It's 8 episodes, and each episode is about 35 minutes long, maybe 30 if you skip past the previously on and stuff like that. So you can fly right through them. But I was bored to tears watching this show. I think I slept through one because I don't even remember one. or or maybe I just dozed off and it felt like I missed an episode. I don't know, because it just, something was missing throughout this show. It was something just not there. And I know this show had a lot of problems during production. This show been wrapped up. They've been shot this. You had the Writers Guild strike that took place in the middle of production. They had to shut it down. I think something else happened. Another strike happened and all this. Yeah, this goes back to 2022, I believe, when they started production on this show. And we're finally getting it. It was just a lot. Now, in looking at it from that prism, it is to be admired, because you did put out something. You managed to steer the ship to port, despite the fact you went through so many hurricanes out there in the Atlantic, but you could have put something better together. With all that time, in between, nobody peeked at it and said, you know what, maybe we could do this a little better. Maybe we could tweak a scene here or there. Let's get some reshoots here to kind of spice this up a little bit. This was just boring, man. It was unnecessarily boring. And the reason I say that, the story was fine. The actors and the struggle and him trying to hide it. And by the way, this is non-spoil. I'm not going to spoil anything about the show, even though there's no spoil. There's nothing to spoil about this show. This doesn't lead in. I guess that's a spoil. It doesn't lead into nothing. You're not going to get any insight to Doomsday. You're not going to get any insight to Secret Wars or setting up Spider-Man Brave New World or anything like this. None of that. This is a poster child for a one-off. It is its own thing. And now, does it reference other things in the MCU that has taken place in the past? Yes, of course. You have Trevor Slattery, from Iron Man 3, from Shang-Chi, so there's parts there, but other than that, it's really its own thing. But back to the story. The story, like I said, decent story, interesting story. Did it need to be dragged out for 8 episodes? No, it didn't. And then one of the episodes was so unnecessary. You introduce a character who is in the comics Doorman. He basically gets his own. He gets his own episode here that had no bearing to the show. Now, does it explain a particular plot line throughout the show? Yeah, it does. But did you need a 30-minute episode to explain that? No. You could have explained that in one line of dialogue. One throwaway line in an episode would have explained all that. We didn't have to have a whole episode set around this character that, look, I get it. You would never use that character in any other Marvel show because it's a useless character. It's a pointless character that would never hold any bearing on any other MCU property. But you didn't have to use him here. It was so dumb. It was dumb. That was a waste of 30 minutes. And after that, I was kind of checked out, to be honest with you, because I was frustrated. I was like, why are we spending time on this when we had left off in our main storyline? It was a pretty interesting point where we left off at, and then you got that episode that just killed all momentum. And then after that, when we picked back up with our main storyline, the momentum was gone. It was they slogged through that until the end. It was a tough watch. This was a tough watch. Now, it wasn't all bad. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II gave an awesome performance. I think he was great as Simon Williams. He's an awesome actor. I'm not going to say pretty awesome. He's awesome. I think back to the Watchmen TV show that was on HBO where he played Dr. Manhattan on that show. He was awesome in that. He was awesome in The Matrix Revolutions, and that movie was horrible, but he was good. You know, he was good as Black Manta in the Aquaman movies. Probably the only good thing about those movies. He is an awesome actor. He was wasted here. If Marvel was going to use an actor of this ilk, why would you use him on something like this? It was just, it was frustrating to watch because I'm watching him perform on this show. I'm like, man, this dude is giving it. He didn't mail it in at all. He did not mail this in. He could have easily done it. Same thing with Ben Kingsley, or Sir Ben Kingsley. I apologize. He could have mailed it in, and he did. He did. Those two were excellent. And the pairing of those two actors that I never would have imagined being in any type of media together, film or television, acting with one another, being buddies, basically a buddy cop type of mode, and they bounced off of each other so well. But Ben Kingsley was the show stealer here. It really was his show. It was the Trevor Slattery show. They could have erased the Wonder Man. If it would have been Trevor Slattery's show and not Wonder Man, and based it around Trevor's character, this would have been all right, because I feel it. You know, I would have felt it. Take all the superhero stuff out of it and just make a show like that. I can accept it more. But the fact that you have this superhero, well, not really a superhero as far as the show is concerned, but a superpower being, I guess that's the best way to put it. Yeah, that was an element that just didn't need to be there. They could have just made this show about struggling actors and just been done with it. You know, don't tease me like that and think this is a superhero show, because it isn't. There was nothing superhero-ish about it. Nothing. Aside from Yahya Abdul-Mateen II and Sir Ben Kingsley, there's nothing else about this show that's interesting. No, I mean, absolutely nothing. It was nothing else to be excited about. But if you want to see some good acting, hey, watch the show. And it's just those two. Everybody else around him, I don't know. I don't know who cast this show, but it was not the best of cast. I'll say that much. With all that being said, how would I rank it? It'll be dead last, I think. I think this is. Oh man, I'm talking about as far as the Disney Plus shows. I can't think of anything worse than this. You know, and you know what's sad? It's not like it's bad for bad sake. You can see the effort put in on screen. It really was some effort there. You know, it's hard for me to really critique this show because it makes me angry. It's probably one of these shows that if I go back to watch, which I doubt, but if I ever go back to watch it again, I probably would appreciate it a little bit more. But on first viewing, it just did not hook me at all. Anyway, Wonder Man, which is currently on Disney Plus, 8 episodes, all there for your viewing pleasure, gets a letter grade of a D-. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I don't know what I don't know what happened, but they told it. They already spoiled it for you when they dumped all 8 episodes at once. When they do that, when Disney does that, you know it's bad. They did it with Echo, and it was bad. They did it with what was the other one they did? Oh man, it was just on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, normally when they do that, the show is not all that great, and this pretty much keeps that trend going. But I'm pretty sure there's something else about this show I probably liked, but I'm so clouded with disgust right now, disappointment, and I think that's a bad word to say because I wasn't really looking forward. It was not. I wasn't. anticipating anything great from this show. I was just hoping to be entertained, and I wasn't. Aside from the two lead actors, it was nothing. It was nothing there to keep me interested. But that's just one man's opinion. I know there's a lot of struggling actors who probably watch this show and think it's the greatest thing on earth, and I respect that because it accurately depicts that. That's great, man. If you see that in you, if you see yourself in this show and appreciate this show for that, man, good on you, man. I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad anybody who likes it like it. I'm envious of you, but I want to know, are you one of those few that did like it? Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, don't forget about YouTube. Subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this review of Disney Plus Marvel Television's new show, Wonder Man. Want you all to know that I love you, continue to love everyone, and until we speak again, you all be blessed.